Hey, you. Yeah, you. Welcome to the Malaka podcast.
Toronto Raptors. Ladies and gentlemen, I haven't seen many miracles in my life, but I didn't know this Mother's Day of 2019 I was going to witness something even better than a miracle. Something that was just amazing to watch. Something spectacular. Something beautiful. Almost like art in motion. I'm a Toronto Raptor fan ever since we joined the league. And it's had its ups and downs. I'm not going to lie. But today I woke up, I wished my mother a happy Mother's Day, and I just relaxed. I figure record a podcast, maybe record another. Then I thought, okay, I'm just going to watch Game 7 Toronto Raptors. Of course I'm going to watch it. I'm a Raptor fan. I've been there since Damon Stoudemire, Vince Carter, Chris Bosh, all these guys. Mr. Rosen, who I still miss. And as I'm watching this game, I'm like, okay, back and forth, back and forth. Could be anybody's game. The score is tied with just a couple seconds to go. Lowry gets the ball. Now, Kawhi Leonard. You may not know who this guy is, but I guarantee you, after today, you will. Gets the ball, shoots it, buzzer goes off, hits the rim, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. And it goes in, and ladies and gentlemen, the Raptors have finally advanced to the 3rd round of the playoffs since, well, ever. It's never really happened. Unfortunately, a lot of people always consider the Raptors a joke. We call those Americans. I'm just kidding. Well, in many ways I'm not. But I'm just saying, no one really took Canada's franchise that seriously. I mean, for years we were just a joke. I mean, remember when the Raptors joined the franchise in 1995? And they were also joined with the Vancouver Grizzlies. Where are they now? Well, they used to be in Memphis. Not anymore. It didn't really work out for them. Sorry. But the Toronto Raptors, we're still here. And you know what? We're kicking some serious ass. Yeah, I said it. We're kicking some serious fucking ass. And before that, let's be honest, we really didn't have that magical moment. But then all of a sudden, Kawhi Leonard just had what a lot of people are now calling the shot, and probably the most exciting moment in Raptors history since Vince Carter dunked and almost put his whole body actually into the net. That's right. That's what the Raptors were basically known for a very long time. And don't get me wrong, I love Vince Carter. He is still pretty much a god in this city, one of our best players of all time. But it's just weird that our best moment was something that happened in an all-star game. No, it didn't happen in the game. It happened in the slam dunk competition. Yeah, that's our moment, really. You know, we didn't have a crazy shot in the playoffs, or, you know, maybe a double OT win or something like that. No, it really just didn't happen for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, the Raptors are not a team to fuck with. Not anymore. And our next people that we're going to face are the Bucks. And after that, who knows? Can we make it past the Greek Freak? We shall see. But like I said before, according to good old Wikipedia, The Toronto Raptors are a Canadian professional basketball team based in Toronto, Ontario. The Raptors compete in the National Basketball Association, also known as the NBA, as a member club of the league's Eastern Conference Atlantic Division. Founded in 1995 as part of the NBA's expansion into Canada, the Raptors are the only Canadian-based team in the league after the 2001 relocation of the Grizzlies from Vancouver, BC to Memphis, Tennessee, United States. They play their home games at the Scotiabank Arena. Now, at the time, in 1995, like I said, the NBA was ready to expand. And you know what? There was such a popularity for the sport in Canada. I mean, I can't believe it didn't happen before. We got the Leafs, who I've talked about vigorously a couple weeks ago in a podcast. Please don't let me go through that shit again, okay? At least give me the summer to rest and, I don't know, build up my energy until then, okay? We got the Jays, all right? We got the Argos. We got, well, that's pretty much the major sports. I mean, we got the Toronto Rock, which is lacrosse. We got the FC, soccer, that's good too, But like I said before, our major sport has always been hockey. But I always told people, once basketball comes here, it's going to be pretty close, especially with the younger generation. And let's be honest, in Canada, we're pretty much the most multicultural city in the world, Toronto. I'm pretty sure people overseas in India aren't watching hockey. So, we got the next best thing right here. And it's a great sport. It's entertaining. I'm pretty sure it's cheaper seats than the Leafs, I think. Just putting that out there. Okay, maybe they're not, maybe they are. I don't know. I'm just saying, God, I'm exhausted. How many times am I gonna do a podcast about where I mention the Leafs and anyways, the point is the Raptors are our best team in Toronto right now. By far. It's not even close. We got a terrific team. But like I said before, it hasn't always been that easy for the Toronto Raptors. It hasn't. I mean, our first year that we played, I remember, I think we only won 10 games. 10 games, that's it. 10 games out of 82. That's it. Although what's funny is, one of the games that we won was against Chicago. And you gotta keep in mind, this was 95, 96. This is when Chicago was Chicago. This was, I don't think Michael Jordan was born in Chicago, but he might as well have been. He basically just took over that city. Him, Scottie Pippen, Rodman, Kukoc, Steve Kerr. I mean, all these dudes were just kicking ass. And we were able to beat them in the one season where they only lost 10 games. So an expansion team beat Chicago in their best year. In my eyes, I consider that an accomplishment. So I always thought that was pretty cool. And also, the first 2 points that we ever got in a game was by a player named Ed Pinkney, and he scored it with a slam dunk. So if that doesn't get the crowd pumped up, nothing will. But like I was saying, like most expansion teams, the Raptors struggled in their early years. But after acquiring beautiful players like Vince Carter, who we traded for on draft day. Originally, we got Antoine Jameson. I remember I was watching it with my dad, and they're on stage and they traded hats. And even my dad said, like, Antoine Jameson, he seems kind of like disappointed, like he wanted to play for the Raptors, And I never really heard of either players. I mean, I heard a little bit of Vince Carter. Probably heard more about Antoine Jameson than I did Carter, but I would say that worked out for the most part. And the team set league attendance records, and made the NBA playoffs in 2000, 2001, and 2002. Carter was instrumental in leading the team to their first playoff series win in 2001, where they advanced to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know what happened there. We were playing Philly, Game 7. Vince Carter just graduated from North Carolina University. The same day he graduated, in the morning, took a plane afterwards, came here to play Game 7 for the Toronto Raptors. This is how devoted this guy was. And, a couple seconds left. Again, very similar shot to what just happened tonight. And, unfortunately he missed it. And that was it for the Raptors that year. But far from over in the future. During the 2002, 2003, and 2003-2004 seasons, they failed to make significant progress, and Carter was traded in 2004 to the New Jersey Nets. Now, again, I remember when we got rid of Carter. A sad day. I honestly couldn't believe it. It happened. I was hoping we'd get some good players for him. We didn't. We basically got, what did we get? Nobody wanted to come here, right? Alonzo Mourning didn't want to come here. Mashburn was supposed to come here. He played for a little bit or something. I don't know. And then we ended up getting a pick or something. And, in many ways, that was one of the worst NBA trades in NBA history. So, what was next for the Raptors? Well, after Carter left, Chris Bosh emerged as the team leader. In 2006-07 season, Brian Colangelo was appointed as general manager, and through a combination of Bosh, 2006 first overall draft pick, Andre Bargnani, I think that's how you say it, right? Cool. And a revamp of the roster, the Raptors qualified for their first playoff berth in 5 years. So, it wasn't that bad, I guess, but I don't know. And they, captured the Atlantic Division title, which is good. Don't get me wrong. It was cool. It was great seeing that. But I don't know. Was the excitement there like it was today? I don't think so. And in the 2007-08 season, they also advanced to the playoffs, but failed to reach the postseason in each of the next 5 seasons. Colangelo overhauled the team's roster for the 2009-10 season in a bid to pursue pending free agent Bosh to stay. But Bosh departed to sign with the Miami Heat in July 2010, ushering in yet another era of rebuilding for the Raptors. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Are you guys not seeing a theme here with the Raptors? It's like we get a little bit, That's what it was like. It was very frustrating, Chris Bosh went to go play with Mr. Wade there and LeBron James, and Now, hopefully I'm saying this name right. Masai Ujiri. Yes, maybe? Sure. Replaced Colangelo in 2013 and helped a new era of success led by the backcourt duo of Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan. The salt and pepper of what the Toronto Raptors needed all these years. That salt and pepper comment was not in Wikipedia. I added that shit. Just saying. Anyways, the Raptors returned to the playoffs the following year and became a consistent playoff team in every year of Ujiri's tenure. Yeah, I'm getting better at saying it. Under Ujiri, the team also won 5 division titles and registered their most successful regular season in 2018. However, the team's failure to reach beyond the conference finals prompted Ujiri to fire head coach Dwayne Casey shortly after the playoffs concluded and conduct the high-profile trade of DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green later that summer, as well as requiring Marc Gasol before the trade deadline. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie. As much as I love Vince Carter, I always feel that DeMar DeRozan represented the Toronto Raptors to the fullest. He really did. You know, up to this day, he still has projects and, I believe, foundations still in Toronto, based in Toronto. And he, flies back and forth, I guess, or from San Antonio, and, but that's how much he loved the city. The thing that really pissed me off the most is, like, when we got rid of him, they had the interview with him, and, he said something like, I know it's unrealistic for me to think like this, but I thought I was going to retire a Raptor. Now, even to this day, I've never heard anybody ever say that, And as a player, you're not really supposed to think that, even if you're an all-star, I mean, who did Wayne Gretzky play for? Edmonton, LA, St. Louis, Rangers. One of the best players of all time. And he played for 4 different teams. There's no insurance to sports. Nothing. You don't know what team you're going to play for next. You don't know if you're going to get injured that night or maybe get injured 20 years from that day or not get injured at all, Who knows? But it was just nice of him to actually say that. And he's in San Antonio now, and I don't know, who knows? Maybe one day he'll come back here. I don't know. Who knows? But I loved everything that he did for the city, everything he represented for the city. And, DeMar DeRozan, I salute you, man. I wish you all the best, and I hope everything works out for you. And, and again, this is no disrespect to Kawhi Leonard or Danny Green. I mean, these guys have been awesome. Absolutely awesome. Danny Green, his hustle, I mean, it's just been great. Kawhi Leonard, I mean, this guy's just making miracle shots. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes, like, I'll just see him shoot, and I don't know. Maybe it's just me. He reminds me a lot of Jordan. He really does. I mean, just the way he shoots, the fadeaway. I mean, he's focused. He is absolutely focused. He has one of the worst laughs I've ever heard a human being laugh. It's really, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is really disturbing. I saw him in that press conference before the season started. And I don't know, somebody asked him something, and like, what did he say? He said something like, "Oh man, I can't even see you." And I'm still very shocked by that. I mean, I just tried to do it there. I can't do it justice. I don't know. Like, it was like, I don't know what it was. Like, if you ever, I mean, like back in the day, they had this show called Mr. Ed. And Mr. Ed, like when he tried to talk, I mean, they can't get a horse to talk, obviously, believe me, I've tried. But what they would do is they would put like peanut butter on his teeth. And, his teeth would just go back and forth and just, I don't know, they were just dubbing the sound, whatever. But like, I'm watching, Leonard's teeth go there, and it's just like kind of a, it's almost like, like both sides of the teeth, like one is saying, okay, like I'm going to go left, you go right. Tongue, if you can just help us out a little bit, just make a little kind of sound with your, uh, your throat. If you need some water, let me know. Loosen you up. I I don't know what it is. I mean, they showed a clip of Kevin Hart there trying to not laugh. That didn't work. He was laughing for a constant minute there. Again, I was laughing my ass off, But again, the guy can shoot. So who cares how he laughs? It doesn't matter. It's fucking hilarious, but it doesn't matter. The guy's an amazing player. And later on, like I said, we got Mark Garcelle there, and he's doing great too. We got a great team. We got an absolute great team now. But like I said before, it took us a fucking long time to get there. Too many ups and downs. Players didn't want to come here. I'm not going to mention any names. Lonzo Mourning, but I don't want to pay taxes. I don't live in Canada. It's too cold. There might not be running water. I'm fucking stupid. It's just, I just couldn't understand it for years. I mean, this is just an absolute great city. Call me crazy. Call me crazy if you want. But LeBron James, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know. Like, that dude seems like a very indecisive guy. I mean, he goes from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland, leaves Cleveland again, and goes to LA. And he thinks everyone's just going to follow him. Why don't he just come to the Raptors? I don't get it. Like, you got a good relationship with Drake. And by the way, if you haven't heard of Drake, wake the fuck up. But Drake, is an ambassador to the Raptors. I remember seeing him in the first little press conference there. Everyone's dressed in nice black suits. He shows up in the light blue there. I don't know. He's kind of got like a Miami Vice thing going there, and he's like, oh man, okay, you know what? I got to learn how to dress. So, he's got a good sense of humor. I love it. But again, that connection, like, why didn't he just get him here? Okay, yeah, we get it. You want to be in LA. Okay, whatever. Fuck. I mean, again, I'm not dissing LA or nothing, but, I mean, he could have came here, we would have had basically the best big three of all time. Leonard, Lowry, and King James. I'm not saying we don't have a great team now. I'm just saying I don't understand the mentality of some players thinking that Canada or Toronto is this mystical city, that doesn't have electricity or running water or white girls. I just don't understand. I mean, like, you guys could have a fucking field day here. You really could. But no, you decided to go to LA, and play with Lorenzo, the guy's off his fucking rocker ball there, His father's nuts. I don't know. The point is, I just don't get it. There's nothing wrong with our team. And then finally, it's getting to a point the last couple of years, people finally get how good the Toronto Raptors are. How serious we are about our sport. We love basketball. You go to Greece. I mean, Greece, they love it. I mean, they love basketball over there. I'm just mentioning that because, people think, maybe Greece, they like soccer or something. No, basketball's like worldwide too. It's one of those simple things where, all you need is a ball and you can kind of easily set up like two hoops, When I went to Greece by myself in 2000, as I mentioned before, I lied to my parents so I can go to Greece for 2.5 weeks. Sorry, guys. Happy Mother's Day, Mom, by the way. Anyways, I was in the one village there, and they had a full basketball court. And I'm not talking like, some bullshit hoops, with no mesh or something. By the way, I hate playing basketball with no mesh, because if you get a swish, you want to hear that sound. Swish, I grew up playing NBA Jam. I'm used to the swish. But anyways, he's on fire. Anyways, so they had the whole setup basketball court there, nicely paved. It was green. They had all the lines and shit. And then they had the hoops, with mesh. Awesome. And they never once played basketball. Now again, this was like in 2000. So again, I know my statement before I said basketball is really popular, and it is. But at the same time, a lot of people, yeah, they just, kind of took it for granted. And just as a joke, I took the soccer ball in the beginning of the game and I just put it in the hoop, and like everyone, laughed their ass off. But I'm like, guys, the irony is this is what we're supposed to do here, you know? But instead they just put like two garbage cans on one end, two garbage cans on the other, and we just played soccer and whatever. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. Win in Rome, win in, Greece, fuck it. So what I'm trying to say is, I mean, basketball is universal. So to think, it's just a United States thing. But by the way, James was named Naismith, Canadian, invented basketball. So why did it take so fucking long for Canada to get their own basketball team? Two basketball teams at the time. Why? Why? I don't get it. I mean, me and my dad, we went to a basketball game, and actually we went to a couple. One game I remember going to, it was versus the San Antonio, and two big players at the time were David Robinson and Tim Duncan. And David Robinson was always known as the Admiral. And and I didn't really know why. I think I think before he was in the Army and all that. And I remember during the national anthem, he was like still, like he was like his legs were together, his arms are straight. Like this guy looked like a drill sergeant. Like it was crazy, And Tim Duncan, he's another big motherfucker, and two great players, playing together. And it was a weird year too. I think that was maybe his rookie year or the year after, or something like that. And San Antonio only had like a 20% chance of getting the first pick, and they did. And I don't know, Tim Duncan before that could have been an Olympic swimmer. Then he chose basketball, and then he went to San Antonio. And then, of course, you got David Robinson mentoring you. I mean, that's like when Mario Lemieux mentored Crosby. I mean, like, it doesn't get any better than that. So, anyways, me and my dad went to the game, and it was awesome. I mean, like, we had a great time. And I think that was the same time, I think Damon Stoudemire was still playing for us. And my dad, my dad is like an awesome drawer. I've always told my dad, like, I don't know why he doesn't, still draw to this day. I mean, I can't draw for shit. I trace everything. I don't give a fuck. But my dad, like, I mean, he's like fucking, Michelangelo. I'm more like Raphael. But anyways. That was a shitty joke. But anyways, so he drew this awesome picture, and they called Damon Stoudemire Mighty Mouse because he had a tattoo of Mighty Mouse on his arm. And my dad drew this really cool picture of Damon Stoudemire, and it was really well detailed, the face. I mean, it was just fucking beautiful. And on the poster, it shows the tattoo like flying off his arm, and Damon Stoudemire's looking at him, and like it was a cool picture. And I remember like, we brought it to the game. And then at one point, I remember looking at the cameraman and like down below, and he kind of gave the signal, kind of like, like raise your picture. So we rose the picture, rose, whatever. And, we saw ourselves on, the big screen there, and that was awesome, and it was just we had pretty good seats. We were pretty close. And, I mean, I just remember always having a great time, going to Raptor games. The other game I went to was during, it was a weird game because they played at Maple Leaf Gardens, if you could believe it, like a couple games, 2-3 games or something like that. And that was during Allen Iverson's rookie year. And, you realize that Allen Iverson's only like 6'1". I mean, like, I'm 6'1", but I mean, 6'1" in the NBA is like nothing, I didn't even know how Muggsy Bogues made it. But, I remember seeing Allen Iverson, and he deked through like 3 of our players and then dunked it after. I thought that was fucking amazing. So to see him play, especially in his rookie year, was just awesome. Well, going back to the other game, so like after that game, a lot of times, I don't know if they still do this, people would just line up in the parking lot, for a little bit. and they would hope for, an autograph by a player. So we did that for the Toronto Raptors. And, most of the players are pretty cool. I mean, some of them just didn't sign. Like, I don't think Walt Williams gave us a signature. We all lined up around Marcus Camby's car. He was kind of like, he gave this reaction where he wasn't rude, but he kind of laughed at him. He's like, hey guys, come on, just, get away from my car. But the way he said it was almost like, it wasn't like him being a dick or anything. Like, it was just, he was kind of funny, like, because he was smiling the whole time. He's just like, come on, guys. Like, he gave that face, like, really, guys, you're gonna, slow me up. But anyways, so he didn't sign. At the time, we were able to get Clifford Rozier, he was a really nice guy. My dad called him Rosie, which is always dangerous to, call a black guy Rosie. But, he actually said that, oh man, I haven't been called that since college. So, like, he was really nice. Carlos Rogers, he didn't really say a lot, but he didn't say anything, but I just handed him a card that I had. He signed that one as well. And then I went up to Oliver Miller. Now, for those of you who don't know who Oliver Miller is, let me tell you, he's two things. One, I believe he's the biggest guy that's ever played in the NBA. Not by strength, not by muscles. No. Just very, very big. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a big guy myself. I don't like ripping on my fellow fatties, but this guy was just a complete asshole. We went up to him very politely, said, can you sign this? And I believe he said these exact words. No, kid, I don't sign autographs. Hey, man, get the fuck away from my car. So, obviously he wasn't talking to us because our car was parked elsewhere and for way more money. But, that was my experience with Oliver Miller. And he did, I don't know, I don't think he did shit afterwards. I don't know. But anyways, afterwards, we saw one of the best Toronto Raptors, Damon Stoudemire. Now, Damon Stoudemire was with us since the beginning. He was our first draft pick. And, really nice guy. We didn't actually see him. What ended up happening was, I think someone told us he was driving off, or we saw him driving off. And I was with my dad, and we did have the poster, as I mentioned before. It was laminated, which is funny because we wanted to get an autograph. And for those of you who don't know what lamination is, it's basically plastic over a picture, which means you can't get any fucking signature. But that didn't stop my dad. My dad did something to this day really out of character, and I always do remember this because anyone that knows my dad, he's a very, not quiet. I mean, he's definitely not quiet. He talks forever. But, he's just very low-key, whatever. So then he saw the car going off, and he, has the poster with him, and he just starts chasing after the car. And at this point, the car is in traffic, so he's literally beside the car, just showing Damon Stoudemire, who I'm sure is, this is the last thing he wants to see before he falls asleep. My dad just waving the poster, in front of his face. Now, what I recently found out, maybe like 6 months ago, is my dad told me that, I always thought my dad was crazy for doing that, because I'm like, first of all, Dad, you're going to get hit by a car. You can't get anything signed. I think at the time I was holding the marker. So again, like, this whole thing was pointless. But he told me, when he showed the poster to Damon Stoudemire, he actually he was kind of not blown away by it, but he put his head down because he was disappointed that he couldn't stop and sign it. He kind of gave a look like, oh man, I wish I could stop, and like, I never knew that. So, I just thought my dad was crazy. It turns out my dad is, crazy and very sweet. So, thank you for providing me with that awesome memory that I was able to tell in this podcast. But yeah, I mean, the Raptors are awesome. I mean, they really are. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, Toronto is a hockey town. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the Toronto Maple Leafs could have a shitty year. They're still going to be the number one team. It's sad to say that, but that's how I still feel, But I think maybe these days it's kind of even, I mean, until that magical day that we can face, a team called the Boston Bruins and we can actually beat them. I think we're gonna have to stick with the Raptors, for longevity in the playoffs, especially what just happened tonight, you know. Like I said, I was watching the game, going back and forth, and pretty evenly scored, and it just, Leonard, man. I mean, that dude, like, again, like that guy is just a phenomenal player. I mean, he's so focused. Like he really is. Like every time I watch him play, like he rarely cracks a smile. He doesn't laugh a lot, but at the same time, like people might give him shit for that, but then it's like, you know what? Like, don't you want like a really focused player like that? Like, don't you want someone who's like so into the game and so focused that, who gives a shit if he doesn't smile or not? You know, he just he just wants to do the best he can. And like at the end of this game, he said, "Look, I gave it my all because there was a good chance that I may not play, for the next whatever 5 months, whatever. And yeah, I'm gonna give it my all, And he even said that when he missed that second free throw, he should have been, up the court chasing Jimmy Butler there, Like he didn't have to say that, you know what I mean? But this is the type of player he is. Like he's still like I mean, the guy basically made Raptors history for us. Like he created the best memory of all time. But he's still focused on that one little detail. You know what I mean? Like I mean that's how focused this guy is. I mean, this guy's a phenomenal player. And you got a guy like Lowry who's probably got 10 personalities, but all of them are really cool. I mean, like, basically what I mean by that is, like, he's just, you know, like, let me put it like this. If there was, let's say, you take Joe Pesci from Goodfellas, and you kind of put, like, that, feisty attitude into like a smaller version of a basketball player, like that's basically Lowry. I mean, at the end of every play, even the one 2 points he got there before, afterwards he's still, I don't think he's arguing with the ref, but he's kind of just telling him, look, this is how it is, da, 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 and then he gives the O face with like his two arms out, the classic, like, I mean, you need that kind of energy, on a team. You really do. And it's just phenomenal seeing what these guys have accomplished, like over, ever since like 1995. It's really cool to see that. It really is. The Raptors got their emblem because Jurassic Park came out, the movie came out in like 1994, and then they figured, because of the dinosaur craze, I remember the Angry Video Game Nerd said this, and he made a good point. It's like in the 90s, like I don't know, people were just obsessed with dinosaurs. I mean, they even had that fucking show with it was called Dinosaurs. And it had that pink baby, and the rest of the family was green for some reason. And I don't know, then you found out later, he was adopted. Spoiler alert, yeah, like you're gonna fucking watch the show now. But anyways, so they, gotta love me, and they gotta, play off that younger audience. So they were like, okay, let's put on a Raptor. So me personally, I like the older logo. I always will. They have the new logo or newer logo, whatever, last couple of years with the basketball. It's got the claws, going through it, implying, okay, it's clawing the basketball, whatever. I think the Brooklyn Nets at one point were saying like we were copying them or some shit. I don't know. Like, like I don't know. Can't the Canadians have their one, like thing where the Americans say we don't rip off? I mean, Jesus. But anyways, yeah, I always like that logo better, and yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So yeah, what's next for the Raptors? I mean, like I said, gonna play the Bucks. Gonna play Mr. Giannis there, the Greek Freak. You know. Then afterwards, we're gonna play the winner of the Portland Trail Blazers, uh, who have no problems changing their logo. I mean, I think that logo has been there since what, 70s, 80s. I don't know, whatever. It's still solid red and white. There you go. I'm Canadian, so I respect that. Or we could play Golden State. We could play Mr. Durant or Dale Curry's kid. Let's see what happens. But I just want to say that I'm very proud of the Toronto Raptors. We got a great city here, full of great fans who represent us, to the fullest, and it's awesome. It really is. It was an awesome night. I mean, I'm still. I mean, this game aired or finished, whatever. Like, what was it, like a couple hours ago? I'm still pumped. I mean, like it was just phenomenal. I can't stop talking about it, honestly. I mean, they interviewed Lowry after. He's wearing a hat. All it says is number 7 on it. He's wearing it low, He looks like Jay-Z in 2003. I can't even see his eyes. And they asked him, what was it like winning the game again? He's like, yeah, man, it was cool. It was cool. I'm like, yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, I can't even argue with that. They got the Sir Charles Barkley and Mr. Shaq Attack, talking about the Raptors win, and I don't know, Barkley's going off and saying, 38 shots, he only got 40 points, that was a big deal. Da, da, da. Meanwhile, keep in mind, Barkley last year said that the Raptors were going to win against LeBron James, okay? And again, I did agree with him, but at the same time, he's not always on point, okay? I don't know. Maybe he sees a Krispy Kreme in the back, maybe he's eyeing something there. I don't know. Something's distracting him. I'm just saying, do not doubt the power of the Raptors. And even Shaquille O'Neal said, doesn't matter how much he misses, doesn't matter. He got the points. That's what counts. That's all that counts. And he waves his big finger, which, like, at one point, I swear to God, I thought it was his dick, but it was his actual finger. And he's right. It doesn't matter. Just just keep going. Keep on trucking. Keep on kicking ass, guys. I love you, Toronto Raptors.